The final boots in Hell's Kitchen are always really interesting, as while in most cases they weren't on the same level of the final 2 chefs, most of them without a doubt proved they were a great chef and deserve to make it as far as they did. However, which third places are indeed the best of the best, and which ones were lucky to make it there? What's going on, guys? I'm FlynnMasters, and today, I'll be ranking every final boot / third place finisher in Hell's Kitchen history. As always, be kind to me with these rankings, as it's really hard to do rankings for Hell's Kitchen, and be sure to like and subscribe to support the channel. And with that, we've ranked the winners, runner-ups, and first boots, and now it's time to rank the final boots of Hell's Kitchen.
Bloody hell, here I go again.
The worst final boot in Hell's Kitchen history is Jessica from the very first season. Now, for those of you that don't know, a big part of my criteria when ranking these chefs is factoring the talent on their specific season. And not only did season 1 have a dreadful cast talent-wise, but it was a small cast of 12 too. And this is literally the only reason why Jessica was able to make it as far as she did. Now, she did have some good moments, such as winning 2 best of the worst, and was arguably the best chef outside of Michael and Ralph. And you have to give her credit for hanging in there despite the lack of experience compared to those two. But nonetheless, she had absolutely no chance to make it to the final 2. And again, was very fortunate to make it as far as she did. And while it's still impressive nonetheless, she's still, in my opinion, the worst final boots in Hell's Kitchen history.
You've got every reason to smile, because you've been amazing.
Thank you.
And I mean that.
Well, thank you very much.
Babe.
I was tempted to put this person last just for the laughs, but number 21 is Elise from season 9. I've said this before, but Elise was nominated 7 times this season, and in most of those cases, she absolutely deserved to be up there. And there was plenty of other times where she made mistakes but didn't have to worry about nomination due to being on the winning team. And in many cases, she should have gone home, but was only kept around due to drama. She did have higher highs than Jessica, and obviously more competition, but nonetheless, Elise is an absolute bottom tier, 3rd place finisher.
Elise!
Yes, chef.
I got a 6-top dying for the appetizers, and you're cooking fish!
I'll put the spaghetti up.
You, off, sit on the chef table. Salmon!
Salmon walking, chef.
Useless. Is that what the best dish of the day was?
It's definitely not my dish, the one that I made today. It's not that at all. It's an overcooked piece of salmon.
Dry as
At number 20 is Andrea from season 5. Andrea got off to a great start, but after a terrible episode 5 performance which got her put up for elimination, her downfall began as she made many mistakes throughout the rest of her run and got nominated 5 times. Not only that, but she got some extremely lucky circumstances in her favor, as she probably should have gone home over Gio at the final 6, and likely Robert would have been the 3rd place finisher instead of her had he not been evacuated. So while she's not a bad chef by any means, between the inconsistency and lucky breaks, she is a bottom tier final boot.
Come on, I need Dory now!
Dory right now!
Christmas is coming now, I need it now! Gloria, that's too much salt. Oh, too much? I'm sorry. Come on, refire it, get it right. Wellington, where is it, Danny? It was 45 seconds. That was 45 seconds ago. I loved being up there. I seriously think that was the least nervous that I've ever felt in Hell's Kitchen the entire time.
At number 19 is Jen from season 3. This is where the lack of competition really bites Jen here, as while she was pretty decent minus her spaghetti and the trash disaster, there's just not much she had to go through this season compared to other final boots, as there was literally only 4 times she was eligible to be nominated throughout the season. Now I do think Jen could indeed handle herself on a bigger and more talented cast, but unfortunately, there's just too many chefs who have a better resume, and thus, she lands here at number 19.
The best cook in the ladies' team this evening was Jen. The workload was phenomenal.
Thank you, Chef.
At number 18 is Corey from season 4. Now some positives first. Corey did have 2 best of the best performances, and she really found her groove down the stretch to earn a black jacket. But she was still pretty inconsistent throughout the season, especially challenge-wise, and struggled mildly during the black jackets, but was able to make it as far as she did due to season 4 being such a bad cast talent-wise, and her being decent enough was able to get her to the final 3. So again, some people might think this is far too low, but to me, there's just simply too many other chefs who perform better than Corey who are a much more talented cast, which leaves Corey here at number 18.
Critics coming out tonight, I will step up and I'll lead the team, just making sure that everything goes right.
Corey! Very nice, that risotto.
Yes.
Thank you.
Go, please.
Guys, risotto's up. 2 risottos, 1 on the fly.
Corey, very nice, that risotto.
Thank you, thank you. I know that I have the leadership skills, and I was honestly super impressed with myself.
At number 17 is Brett from Rookies vs. Veterans. Again, this season is always so interesting when it comes to rankings due to the concept of the season. As while Brett showed great promise in season 14, at the end of the day, he didn't last as long as the other veterans, and thus, he already had the advantage coming into the season, with Ramsay likely being a bit more forgiving to him compared to the likes of Kevin and T, but at the same time, of course he had the experience advantage over the rookies. Nonetheless, he did super well early on, But as we got to the home stretch of the season, while he didn't struggle per se, I don't think he was the leader that he needed to be, as the red team completely crashed and burned, and might have outshined him overall in that kitchen. And speaking of that, Brett might not even have been the third place finisher had Milo not quit, as that likely would have been Mia instead. So still a great run for Brett overall, who had a lot to prove this season, but between his somewhat expected good position, along with other minor hiccups and lucky breaks he got, he lands here at number 17.
Congratulations. Brett. Thank you, Chef. Amazing. Hell yeah, yo. Yeah, baby. This one's for y'all, I said. This one is for y'all. Mama, this one's for you right there. The reason I'm a chef is because my mother and my father. That's what I'm talking about. So this one was definitely for them. Definitely for them.
At number 16 is Melanie from season 12. Now on paper, Melanie could arguably be a lot higher due to the amount of competition she had to deal with and not being nominated one time all season. However, there are some small nitpicks I have, and unfortunately, when it comes to a ranking like this, that can cost you big time. She was in some ways responsible for the red team's first loss to the blue team, as she failed to lead her team to victory that night, and began to falter a bit towards the end game. And while I personally don't agree with this, a lot of people think she would have been the final 5 boot had Joy not quit. And let's be frank, while season 12 did have its fair share of talent, it had a lot of filler as well. So Melanie did better than I think a lot of people would have thought, but between her never really shining as a leader throughout the long season and faltering down the stretch, I think 16 is a good spot for her.
What's going, Melanie?
Let me know when you're hamming in your... Hamming. 2 halibut.
Do you know what? You just switched off. The lights are on, but there's no one at home.
I need to like get my head out of whatever I was in and just bounce back.
Good girl. Service, please. What's wrong with you? Seriously, what's wrong? Pink chicken.
I know, I don't even want to talk about that. That was the most embarrassing thing. I do not ever want to disappoint Chef Ramsay of all people. I was looking into his eyes like, please don't send me home, please don't send me home.
Season 7 was a tale of 2 halves for Benjamin, as after a tough first service, he took over the leadership role from Ed, and arguably even outshined future blue team sous chef in Jay, to the point where Ramsay felt he was the chef who had the best chance to turn around the ill-fated red team. And yeah, safe to say, that didn't work out. Now, to be fair, while Benjamin's performance did decrease during his time on the red team, it's not like he was terrible, and I don't think even someone like Jay could have saved that red team, so it might be a bit unfair to judge him for that, but regardless, while Benjamin was well on his way to being a dominant third placer, his red team run and subsequent poor performance in the Black Jackets leaves him here at 15.
If you want to win, we got to win as a team. We need to make sure that the best food goes up there, okay?
I knew mine was one of the best.
Your dish got voted off. I would not serve that sandwich out of my kitchen.
That's fine.
Okay?
That's your personal opinion.
It's not my personal opinion. This is my professional opinion. And you need to ask for help. You need to do that. I'm purely confident in my decision.
Keith from season 2 is an interesting one, as he and Heather dominated the entire season, and he absolutely deserved to be in the final 2. But in my opinion, Ramsay wanted to make it clear to future chefs that the past didn't matter, and what you did now was what mattered, and Keith would be the one to suffer from that due to his lackluster past performance compared to Virginia, even though he still clearly deserved to be in the finale over her. So Keith's a very odd ranking here, as he literally could have sleptwalked his way into the final 3 with how bad the cast was, but at the same time, he got really screwed out of the final 2. I don't know, call this unfair, but we're your biggest competition in the Black Jackets to get to at least 3rd place consists of the likes of Virginia, Garrett, and Sarah. It's just simply not that impressive, so unfortunately, I gotta put my boy Keith pretty low at 14.
What is it?
It's cha-ching sesame crusted tuna.
Sorry, say that again.
Cha-ching sesame crusted.
I've never heard ching ching.
Cha-ching is like, it's my slang, just means it's slam and it's money.
Give me your hat.
What?
Hat. There you go. Hold it there.
Kind of soiled the inside, but still wearable.
So these next 5 spots I found extremely tough to rank, and you could honestly switch the order on any of them up. And for that matter, I've seen these chefs range from top 5 to bottom 5 in other people's lists, so just please keep that in mind for this 13 to 9 ranking. But at number 13 on my list is Ashley from season 15. Ashley is a very interesting one here, as while she did make her fair share of mistakes throughout the season, you do have to give her credit for being the last chef this season to be nominated, and I think many people thought she was winning this season by the time the final 3 came. But this isn't a ranking based on the edits, it's a ranking based on the chef's performance that season. And while Ashley was decent, between the lack of talent on season 15 and being outshined by the likes of Kristen and Ariel down the stretch, I think 13 is ultimately a good spot for her.
You were born to cook, and I refuse to take your jacket. There was so little separating you from the finale, it was that tight.
Thank you, Chef.
Come on, don't be upset. Hey. Well done. Head up high. Good night.
Ariel Fox takes my 12th spot. Now season 6 of course is a brutal season with Ramsay at his angriest, and yet Ariel was far and away the standout chef from the red team early on. However, she did begin to falter during the endgame, especially the Black Jackets, getting nominated after both services, which were 2 all-time bad Black Jacket services that she was right in the middle of. And had Tennille not completely crashed and burned out of nowhere at the final 4, she likely doesn't even get to the final 3. Now I will say, she could have been Megan level of dominant and not made it to the finale due to the incredible Kevin and Dave storyline, but nonetheless, as they say, it's not how you start but how you finish, and Ariel backing her way into the final 3 unfortunately drops her a couple spots for me, when she was well on her way to be an easy top 10er, but I ultimately think 12 is a good spot for her.
I feel that I did prove myself. I just want to blossom from here, and I know I will be successful. I know it in my heart. I owe it all to Chef Ramsay.
I truly thought about putting the 5 chefs who got eliminated via the final 3 elimination challenge automatically in the top 5, but I do feel like Alejandro is just too big of a weak link for that. Now Alejandro was not a bad chef by any means, and was even an early favorite after winning the punishment pass and doing great out of the gate. However, while he wasn't dreadful or anything, he did become a bit more inconsistent throughout the season, getting nominated 4 times, and might not have even made it to Black Jackets had it been normal dinner services compared to the Black Jacket Lounge Challenge, where he leapfrogged over 2 other chefs for making a great challenge dish. I will say, I thought about putting him a bit higher because he should have been in the final 2 over Daphne, but between being somewhat lucky to make it that far in the first place, and never having a shot at beating Alex regardless due to the inconsistencies, I think 11 is a good spot for Alejandro, far and away my lowest final 3 elimination chef.
Made a chicharron out of it, crumbled it over top.
Wow. So it looks beautiful.
Thank you, Chef.
It's got that finesse. Lobster's cooked beautifully.
Thank you, Chef.
The twist of that salmon skin with the fresh truffle, it's a new beginning.
Awesome.
Only thing missing with this dish is your jacket. That's how good this dish is. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chef.
At number 10 is Michelle from season 14. The competition once again comes into play here. However, this time is for great reasons when it comes to my rankings, as 22-year-old Michelle held her own against some of the best chefs in the history of the show, with her even having her standout moments at times despite being on the same team with Megan and T. But she was still simply a bit too inconsistent even compared to some other chefs who I have below her. So due to her not being quite as dominant as other final boots, but nonetheless still making it to the final 3 on one of the most talented seasons ever, and that leads her to just squeak out a spot in my top 10.
Grilled flank that's seasoned with salt, pepper, and chili powder, black bean puree, and mango pepper salsa.
It's delicious. I mean, you've got the cheapest cut, one of the most awkward, but it's a really good dish. Megan, give Michelle the seat, please.
Yes, Megan is a really tough competitor in this competition.
Wow.
And I just beat her with a flank steak.
I think Dana is just about as normal of a 3rd placer that you can have. She was super consistent throughout the season, was on an average season talent-wise, and didn't necessarily do anything wrong to miss out on the finale. Justin and Christina were just simply better chefs. So yeah, really not much to say about her, other than she was a great chef, and I simply view 8 other final boots a bit better whether due to talent or circumstances, and thus, Dana lands here at number 9.
Hell's Kitchen has been so much harder than I ever thought it was gonna be, but I have to say that I think I did pretty well.
I think I'm gonna go with the meatballs.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Dana.
I have Michelin-starred chefs who have tasted my dishes.
It was great. Everything on the dish works.
And told me how amazing they are. And even though I'm leaving Hell's Kitchen, I'm leaving with my head held high, and I know one thing, and that's I'll never stop cooking.
At number 8 is Heidi from season 16. Heidi was extremely consistent throughout the season, with many people thinking she should have made it to the final 2 over Heather. But come on, let's be frank here. All she had to do was literally be average, and she likely would have made it to the final 3 regardless. That's how bad the season 16 cast is. And even had she made it to the finale, I can't imagine she beats Ryan. So on talent alone, you could argue she deserves a top 5 spot, but when you factor in the lack of talent she faced, that unfortunately takes her out of the top 5 for me, ultimately landing here at number 8.
Heidi, describe your side.
I have a cilantro chicken burger with pepper jack and a Dijon vinegar.
I love it. I think it's seasoned really nicely.
Thank you. I'm so excited that Christina loves my slider. I am on cloud 9 right now.
We have a tie, and to break that tie, we're going to come up with the best slider of the day. Red team, Heidi, well done.
Yes!
Well done.
Thank you. Yes! Yes! I won it! It was my burger! Best of the day! This is awesome! This is so amazing!
At number 7 is Julian from season 8. Now this is a very interesting one. As well, yes, Jillian had virtually no competition. I still think she could handle her own on even the most talented of seasons. And the big thing in her favor, she was literally one decent pass run away from winning this season, but unfortunately, her lackluster run gave Nona the spot over her, who would be the one to win the season instead. Now would Jillian be this close to winning had she been on a modern season? Probably not, but she had a great run, and arguably came as close to win as you can come to in Hell's Kitchen, and so that lands her a spot in the top third of my rankings at number 7.
Jillian, you have been a fierce competitor. Don't take that jacket off.
Yes, Chef.
You deserve to keep it on.
Thank you, Chef.
Well done.
Appreciate it.
Good luck. Well done, my darling.
At number 6 is Kaya from Young Guns. Kaya is an interesting one, as she was a great chef who had her standouts, but I don't necessarily think she got screwed by the final 3 twist per se, especially after her meltdown. Still, she's as high as she is due to making it this far, despite the tremendous talent on Young Guns, but I wouldn't say she got screwed over as much as certain other final 3 challenge boots, and thus, she just misses out on the top 5.
It's clear that a leader voice is needed, and I definitely consider myself a leader on the red team.
Scallops, please.
Walking scallop, Chef.
Kaya, nicely sauteed.
Thank you, Chef. Nice job, red team. Great, good start.
Red team, in your kitchen, there was one individual that stood out. Kaya. Fish was immaculate, and you sounded like a leader.
Thank you, Chef.
On to the top 5 now, and at number 5 is John from season 11. Now I do think people forget that John had a somewhat slow start, or at the very least, didn't stand out as much as he did in the later parts of the competition. But yeah, from essentially the final 12 on, he made hardly any mistakes, and often carried the blue team on his back during dinner services and challenges in ways we had never seen before or since. Of course, the main thing that keeps him out of the absolute top tier is his awful past performance, one of the worst performances ever, and had he just done even slightly better, he likely wins the season. Nonetheless, John is still a legend of the show, and does indeed land a spot in my top 5.
Yes. Table? Yes, thank you. The Caesar salad.
Thank you.
Maria, there's more where that came from. How about dessert?
To me, the best non-final 3 challenge third placer in Hell's Kitchen history is Sade from season 13. While not exactly a standout chef per se, Sade was a very consistent presence throughout the season, doing well on both the red and blue team, not being nominated once all season. But what puts her so high for me is the fact that she had one of the best past performances in the history of the show for a chef who didn't end up making the finale. And I think it's just simply a matter of Ramsay feeling like she just simply wasn't ready yet. Literally nothing you can fault her for. So other than her cooking dog food, Sade is just about as good of a final 3 boot as you can have. And the fact that she didn't get to keep her jacket but at least did is criminal.
There's a little bit of pressure running the pass first, but I feel like, you know what, I'm gonna set the bar really high. You will hear my voice today for sure. 2 Capellini.
I'm coming right now. Let's go.
Okay, this is clams. Can I get a mussel capellini, please? 2 of them. Jennifer, you have 3 Wellington and we don't have pork. Marino, you want to successfully run the pass? This is how you do it. Marino! We have pork now? No pork. Wow. No pork.
Sorry, chef.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Sade's aggressive style has kept appetizers and entrees flowing out to the dining room.
Service, please.
The best chicken I've ever had in my life.
At number 3 is Sammy from The American Dream. I mean, what's there really to say about Sammy? She essentially did nothing wrong throughout the season, and unfortunately for her, got eliminated due to the final 3 challenge. Now, as good as she was, I'm not sure she makes it to the final 2 in a normal season since Ryan and Jonathan were so dominant, and that's what keeps the other 2 chefs above her. But nonetheless, Sammy is just about as good as you can get for someone who didn't make it to the finale.
Sammy.
Chef.
You have been so strong from start to finish. Congratulations, young lady.
Thank you.
Even though I did not get in the final 2, I have definitely grown so much over this competition as a chef and an individual, and I could not be more at peace.
At number 2 is Declan from season 19. Declan was of course the beast all season, not only on the line, but as a leader as well, and more than likely makes it to the final 2 had it not been for the final 3 twist due to his incredible leadership. And not only that, but I think he had a legit shot at winning had it not been for his age, and this final 3 twist was an easy excuse to get rid of him. So between Declan arguably being the best chef on this extremely talented season, combined with the fact that he likely does win this season had he been 15 years younger, and he lands here at number 2.
Tartare's in the window.
This isn't beef, this is tuna. Will you give me beef tartare, please?
Hey, well spotted.
Nothing's gonna get past me. I'm on the ball. This is wrong. I need peas in that, not courgettes.
Hurt?
Yeah, good man. Well done. Yeah, really strong. Well done.
All right, thank you, chef.
Thank you. The carbonara is delicious.
That's delightful.
But without question, the greatest final boot in Hell's Kitchen should have never been a final boot to begin with, and that is Nick from All Stars. And yeah, no need to beat the dead horse with this one, but Nick completely dominated an All-Star season and should have represented the star-studded season as his winner, but with this ridiculous Final 3 twist, he would get eliminated by a man who wasn't even a professional chef. For the other Final 3 eliminations in Declan, Kaya, Alejandro, and Sammy, while you could argue that some of them deserved to make it to the finale, I don't think any of them were as big of locks to win as Nick was. Not to mention, this was the first installment of this awful twist. While it does suck, at least he'll always go down as the best final boot in Hell's Kitchen history, so that's at least something, I guess. Hashtag Nick was robbed.
Young man, let me tell you something.
Yes, chef.
You have improved more than any other chef that I've invited back. What have you been doing?
Everything, chef. I've been trying to learn everything.
Yeah, you're a fast learner, and it shows.
Thank you, chef.
So there you have it, guys, my rankings of all 22 final boots in Hell's Kitchen. Let me know what picks you agree and disagree with in the comments below. Just don't be too mean about it. And be sure to like and subscribe to support the channel, and I'll get you more HK content just like this. With all that said, take care everyone, and I'll see you next time.
Get out of there.